What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Third and 13. Man, we excited to be back. We wanted to wait until after the playoff game is finished up so we could get back into it and talk about everything. We got some interesting stuff to talk about. We got we got a really good game. Then we got a couple of other games that happened that we can discuss. A couple of things happened where there were some upsets. There were some embarrassments.
Which I called.
there were some there were some curses broken. There were it's a lot of good stuff involved in this weekend. You did call one of these things, and one of them you didn't call. But
You're right.
You have called.
You're right. I was way off. I was half right. We will get into it. I was half right. I was half right on that one, but we will get into it. I had the outcome correct.
So, we got it. Yeah, for sure. So
that's not the winner.
Well, part of it. So
part of the outcome, right?
So we gotta go ahead and talk about. I'm gonna go ahead and get into our team. First and foremost, the Lions won a playoff game. And I'm not even going to just fanboy it up because I've done that enough here at home by myself. I've done enough fanboying. I don't even need to do that anymore. But I'm super excited for the team and for the city. Finally won their first playoff game in over 30 years. So after a division win, or a division title, I want to be specific, a division title for the first time in so many years. Actually, this is the first time they won the North, because the last time they won a division title, they weren't even the North, NFC North. So this is the first time they ever won the NFC North. So it's super exciting. But now they've won a playoff game. They beat the Rams 24-23. Crazy. Like literally almost all of my life I have waited for this. I mean, the last time they won, I was 2 or 3, and you weren't even existing yet. Like that's the crazy thing. It's crazy to think of that. To think our whole lives we've been waiting for this moment. And it's finally happened. It's done. Now, obviously, after this run is over, whether it's this weekend, next weekend, or in a month, that's when the expectations obviously will then climb and continue to go. But here today, we are just excited that they finally won a playoff game. G, like, man, it was a good game. So let's talk about the game a little bit. What were some things that kind of stood out for you while watching that game?
So let's start with the good. Man, there's good and there's good and bad. Good.
Mm-hmm.
The Lions' mentality, I think that is what won them the game. I think there's just been a culture shift here in Detroit, and I think it's just these guys went into this game expecting to win. Like I feel like a lot of people over the course of the week were very, very cautiously optimistic at best that we could win this game because it's Matthew Stafford. Our secondary is, how can I put this? Porous. They have their holes.
Very specifically, the cornerback position.
The cornerback
not
position,
even just
correct.
Because we actually have a couple of good safeties, but
for sure
they can only do so much. And the cornerback position is
leaving a lot to be desired these days. And Matthew Stafford, is coming into town with an Cooper Cup, with a Puka Nakua. I mean, it's a tall task.
Tutu Atwell,
right?
Robinson,
600 yards to two receivers in 3 weeks. So coming in, I'll say this: our defense actually, I think, was a star of the game. Because as Mark put it eloquently while we were talking, I was upset. I was. I mean, I'm an emotional watcher, but the way he put it, they have a bend, don't break defense. I feel like As I don't like it.
They do.
I don't. But it worked to
Mm-hmm.
perfection.
Mm-hmm.
To perfection Sunday night. I
Yeah.
mean, when I say it worked to perfection, they were 0 from 3 in the red zone. That is the top of the
Which is
line.
huge.
That is the creme de la creme of bend don't break. That is what they did.
Mm-hmm.
It worked out perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Jared
Mm-hmm.
Goff played a great game. Great game. No turnovers. Second half,
Yeah, he did.
they really couldn't get it going a little bit, but still, no turnovers. That was big. That was big. I feel like any turnover in that game would have changed all the momentum in that game, and I think we would have lost. But he was great. Defense was great. And I feel like defense
Yeah.
won them the game. Bad side. Also, let me give some love to Stafford.
There wasn't a single
Stafford
turnover on each side.
on either side. The game was just a great game. Like the only really great game of the weekend. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
All the other games that we're gonna get into wasn't too great. However, let me charge my iPad before we die.
Yeah.
But however, the situation on the bad side, situation on the bad side, the corners still need some help. Is we still let up too many big plays, and that's still a little bit of a concern going forward. And while we go forward into the playoffs, we really do need to limit the big plays. We can still do the bend don't break thing, but we need to keep plays in front of us. Like we can't keep letting these deep balls down the field. Like these 60, 70-yard bombs down the field is just not going to be acceptable. That's going to lose us games. So as long as we can do that, I think, hey, we have a great shot going forward. Honestly, it was one of the greatest days in my sports history of watching sports, to break that curse, to beat Matthew Stafford. I mean,
Yeah.
we crushed a lot of demons, and Ford Field was rocking. I mean, what a place! I mean,
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
great on the national
Yeah.
stage, so I cannot wait to see us do that again next week.
It was a really almost a tale of two halves, in a
For
sense
sure.
of the full team operating together, right? So when you think about it, like, and I like how you mentioned about the mentality. They came out, they got the ball first, and they went down. The first drive was such a flawless drive. Like there was no lost yards, there were no sacks. Um, it was a beautiful. I don't. There were no drop passes. There were no missed
Nothing.
passes. No incomplete passes. Every run was for 4+ yards, and they scored. Right. They come down next. They then hold the Rams to a field goal from there. Then they come back down and they score another touchdown.
Absolutely.
Very methodical, like, and they do it again and score another touchdown before their first three drives were just beautiful, right? Um, in the first half, they had touchdowns. When they got in the red zone, and like you said, the Rams, when they got to the red zone, they didn't get touchdowns. Something that has plagued them all season too. That's something that the Rams have struggled with all season. They're able to get yards, and they get long touchdowns outside of the red zone. But when it comes to getting into the red zone and scoring touchdowns, they struggle. They're one of the lower teams with that, and it showed. And it felt like the Lions knew that too. Like they, though they didn't want to give a big plays, they knew that if they got to the red zone, they could try to control things a little more, and they did that. Another key that I noticed was in the second half, the 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 offense controlled the first half. In the second half, the defense controlled the game. Like we said, even though it was, man, what they give up maybe 6 points in the second half, was it?
Yeah. Yep.
I want to say, or no,
What?
maybe
No,
I'm
they
just
gave a
thinking
little
of the
more than
fourth
that.
quarter. It was a few stops
Yeah.
specifically.
Yeah. A little more than
Yeah,
that.
it
Yeah.
was a few stops, because they had 10 at halftime, so they gave up
For sure.
13 in the second half.
Yeah.
But it was a touchdown. That's what it was. Touchdown in the third quarter. But in the fourth quarter, they got to the red zone a couple of times and they gave up 2 field goals, right? And they stopped them, and that's huge. That's what I texted G and I said. What did I say, man? I said, look, um, it was one thing you said. You were like, we need real stops, and we did need those because we did get a few. After you had mentioned that, we got like two, I think, right after after you had mentioned that. But I did mention those field goals were stops because they ended up being crucial. If they get touchdowns on either one of those, the Lions lose. Well, at least they would have been forced to try to get a touchdown in that last drive,
For
as
sure.
opposed to being able to just kneel it in, go into victory formation. So those were key possessions. And so, the offense controlled things in the first half, defense controlled things. And we got to give a shout out, man, to Jack Fox, who, in my opinion, is the best punter in the game. Okay.
Absolutely.
And the reason why I say that
Absolutely.
is not because he can just kick far. It's a lot to the casual watcher, you would think that it's all about how far he can kick it and things of that nature. No, 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 no. It's his placement. It's always great and in clutch moments. So here's the thing: we used to have a guy. Uh, was it Sam Martin? Was our last punter before this?
It
Yeah,
was.
I love the you know me. I love to get names wrong. So, uh,
No, Sam Martin's right.
but
Sam Martin's right.
but yeah, Sam Martin. So he was our last punter. He was also a good punter, but the problem is that in big moments he would overkick. He had a tendency
Touchback
to
problem.
overkick the ball, touchbacks all the time. He would make great punts when we didn't need him to make great punts, but when we needed him to, he would shank it. He would he would kick it into the end zone, and those things don't help. Jack Fox, oh my goodness,
Consistent.
Jack Fox will put the ball in placement when you need him to, and he was huge. There was a big, I want to say maybe a 60-yard punt towards the end of the game that really it was just after the Lions went. It was in the second half. They had just gone for a three and out, and they needed a big punt to change fields. He kicked a good old 60-yarder and put them down at about the maybe 10, 15-yard line. It was huge. It was
Yeah.
needed. Like, you had to give the defense an opportunity to make some plays, which they did. So I think it was a huge thing. Like you said, the cornerbacks are still an issue. The thing is, they have won 13 games in spite of them. So we're hoping that they can make another game happen this coming
A few more.
weekend where we have another home game. Hey, one game at a time. You said that to me. Um,
Hey, but the
they
ultimate
do
goal
have
is we
um,
need two more banners.
the Super Bowl for sure, for sure, for sure. So I'm excited. They do have another home game. We were upset about the Dallas game where it took away their guaranteed two home games. But hey, Dallas did a thing. They did a thing that Dallas likes to do, and they choked. and I
Real
and
good
I
at
don't
it.
want to say it like the Packers actually are. And I said this beforehand. The Packers are a tough team, and they were going to be a tough team to put out. Their physicality was very difficult, and Jordan Love is nice, and it all showed up against Dallas. I didn't expect Dallas to still lose or get pummeled as they did, but the Packers are a problem. What did you think of that game? Let's get into that. We got to talk about Dallas and Green Bay, both two teams that we
Uh,
neither of us like.
man, I could not have been more wrong about this one right here. But in my defense, I think a lot of people, including Vegas, agree with me. So I don't think
Yeah.
anyone saw this coming. I mean, there was a select few who thought that the Packers pose a threat to Dallas and what Dallas likes to do. I get it. But you're talking first year quarterback, big stage, Jerry World. No, I didn't
Mm-hmm.
think Jordan Love was about to come out there and
Yeah.
turn into the GOAT. Like that just who knew that was gonna happen? Buddy out there throwing off 1 foot. I mean, he was Aaron Rodgers. So um, no one
He
saw that
looked
coming.
like Aaron Rodgers, bro. Like, it's
Literally,
crazy.
nobody saw that coming.
Yeah.
But it happened. We are all grateful here in Detroit that happened. I found it hilarious. I have never been so happy to be wrong in my life. Like I had that right there. Dallas Cowboys. Look, man. I feel bad for y'all fans. Actually, I don't, just because of all the stuff y'all was talking after y'all beat the Lions. Here's the thing. Y'all got to be some of the worst fan bases in the world, man. Y'all, yeah, and this happens to y'all every year. Like, y'all just need to take all that vitriol and aim it towards y'all team, man, because they do this to y'all every single year. Like, I asked a question.
Seriously,
Yeah, like honestly, like
every
I asked a
year.
question to a friend of mine, and it's a legit question. Would you have rather been a Detroit fan? Because let's think about it. We've neither of us have won anything since the '90s. So let's think about this. Would you rather have been a Detroit fan this entire time or a Cowboys fan this entire time? Like, would you rather have been the team who just have been bad? Okay, you're bad forever. Or the team who
Mm.
just consistently gets there and then chokes. I mean, just always has a great team and then choke. That's a tough one for me because I feel like this hurts more. This right here, you got all the
That
way up to
is.
the second seed, home
Uh,
home field advantage, and you let not a rookie quarterback, but a first year starting quarterback come in seventh seed
yeah.
and
Yeah.
literally blow you out.
Yeah.
They killed them. That
Dominate,
score,
bro. They
they
dominated
were
them.
up 32 points at one time. That game was never close, ever. Like, I mean,
Never.
I don't know what I would do. I want the whole team, like I want everyone gone, like the entire team. But until y'all owner leave, honestly, y'all just what y'all are, man. Y'all are what y'all are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because the thing is,
I
they're going to
low
get
key
rid of
feel bad,
McCarthy,
but I don't.
and there's going to be, you almost got to get rid of McCarthy, and they're probably going to. They haven't made it official, but it's probably going to happen. All things point to
Absolutely.
it. But the thing is when they do, if they do, I'll say, Jerry Jones is going to do. There's probably going to be some other choices out there, like a Vrabel or anything like that. He's going to try to make a sexy pick though, because that's what he does. He likes to make the sexy pick. He's going to want to try to
Bill Belichick.
be the hero of finding the right person and stuff. Yeah, he's going to try it. Who at this point is looking like he just had an interview with the Atlanta Falcons. For anybody who doesn't know, by the way, so that's a possibility for him. And I actually think that would be a good spot for him. And all he needs really is a quarterback. So there's that. But anywho, Dallas just did what Dallas does, man. And I was shocked the way it happened. But then part of me was just like you said, kind of like, well, Dallas is just doing what Dallas does, man. And as much as I don't like the Packers just as much, I genuinely am not a fan of either team.
Absolutely.
But Jordan Love is that guy, man. He was out there. He was out there balling.
Slanging,
And
willing and
when I
dealing.
saw that them going up 20, they went up. Didn't they go up 21-0 at one point? I believe. Or
I don't
something
think they
like that.
quite went. I don't think
Pretty.
quite did
They were
that,
up three scores.
but they were up 4 scores.
They were
I mean,
definitely up three scores at one point in the first half, though.
yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
they were up.
yeah.
They were up over
It
30
was
something points at one
pretty
point.
bad.
Yeah, it's pretty sure it was 48-16 or something at one point. So, yeah. So, I mean, yeah. I mean, I don't in the playoffs on your home field. I mean, yes. Let's say it here. Mike McCarthy is getting fired. Like, this isn't. It's no shocker that after the game, Adam Schefter reports Mike McCarthy's job was going to always be dependent on the last game of the season. Okay, well, if that's the case, then he's fired. So, I mean, let's just call it
The
what it
last
is.
game was pretty putrid. So
Yeah, so he's more than likely getting fired. So let's just call that what that is. The whole team looked lost, and that just is what that is. But congratulations to the Packers. I mean, that was a big win. First 7 seed to ever win playoff game. So, hey, congrats. That was didn't see it
yeah,
coming. Um, what's his face? Jordan Love. Jordan Love had the highest passer rating in Packer playoff history. I mean, it was they did their thing. Matt
He had
LaFleur was
he had the
calling it.
highest passer rating of the weekend.
Yeah, but he was balling out there. I mean, he was really going crazy, and he made the world complete. He made the world complete for us because we should have already had that second seed locked up. So he just made it. He made it complete. Even though I think I'm with Aiden Hutchinson on this one. All Detroit wanted Dallas again. We wanted to be the ones to do that.
For
That's
sure,
what
for
we
sure,
wanted. We wanted
for
that.
sure, for sure.
Congrats Packers for y'all doing it, but we wanted to be the ones. It just would have made more, maybe made us feel great to be able to do that to Dallas.
Yeah,
I
absolutely,
think,
absolutely.
but nonetheless,
But
it
we also
happened.
wanted the home playoff game in the second
I
round.
don't know which one they wanted more. I don't know. Aiden went out his way to say we wanted Dallas. Like I think they really
Well,
wanted Dallas. They didn't care whether it was at
as
home or back in
I think the
Jerry World.
players did, but I think the fans, as much
Oh,
as
the
we
fans for
wanted, like,
sure. I
and of
mean,
course we wanted to be Dallas again, but we wanted that home playoff game again. Like 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 you said, the stadium was rocking. It's gonna be crazy
absolutely,
again this coming weekend. Like they definitely wanted that.
absolutely, absolutely. So what else? What are the games we had this weekend? Show us that. I think we had one more NFC game, or was that
We
or
had
was that it?
Let me see. We do have another NFC game. Before we get to them though, let's jump back to the beginning of the weekend where we got to talk about. You picked this one actually, and so this was a great pick. Great pick.
I did.
You picked this one. Houston beat Cleveland, and like I said, I was unsure
Waxed
and
them.
leaned towards the Browns, but they like CJ Stroud is CJ Stroud, like he's a beast. I got nothing. Like his the placement of his passes are absolutely excellent. Like they're of the elite order. Like it is incredible. Um, like the touch that he puts on him, even when he's moved off his spot, it's not like he only can throw straight from the pocket in this particular area when everything's clean and everything's working out. No, 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 no. He can move and still throw a beautiful pass, and it's incredible to see. I don't, and it wasn't that I was hating on him. I just figured it would stop at some point. I figured it was coming to an end. I actually, truth be told, before the season during the draft, I was actually somebody who really wanted CJ Stroud to get drafted by the Lions. I didn't know how that was going to happen. That was just a hope and a dream. But that was before, and that's not to any discredit Jared Goff, but I just saw CJ Stroud as a really. I thought that his last college football game, he showed so much in that game, and he was so incredible that I believed in who he was, and this is exactly who he was. He's showing that exact same player, because he wasn't like that his whole college career. He didn't have a lot of pressure, a lot of different things. We didn't have to see a lot of different things from him. He was always accurate, but a lot of it was in clean pockets, things of that nature. But that last game, it just showed me something different about him. And he's proven that, and he's been that exact same player this entire season. The number one defense, rating wise, got destroyed by CJ Stroud.
They did. They did. But I think the bigger story is just what I said on the last pod last week. It's Joe Fluco. I mean, I tried to explain this to you then, and
He was playing with
is
house
that
money, man. He was.
no, I tried to explain this to you. You say he played well, yes, but he
Wait, wait, wait,
loves
wait,
to
wait, wait,
give the
wait,
ball
wait, wait,
to
wait,
the
wait,
other
wait, wait, wait,
team.
wait, 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 wait. I said that him and Amari Cooper had good chemistry. I said he did like to throw to the other team. I did not
And
disagree with that,
you, well,
but I
that
just
was
figured they would
always
overcome
going
it.
to be the downfall. That was always going to be the downfall, especially when you give him 14 points. I mean, he just walked him here 14. So look, that was going to
Yeah,
end. If
yeah.
we were talking about something ending, well, it was Joe Flacco. That was going to end, and I felt like that, And the game that the Browns did win against Houston earlier in the season, Stroud wasn't even playing. They were playing a backup. So, I mean, congratulations to defense won
True,
that game.
true.
But yes, the defense. I think their defense struggled because their offense was putting them in bad situation after bad situation. I mean, they couldn't even get their bearings. I mean, they didn't know what was hitting them. Do I think they played
I mean,
bad?
it
Like,
was
is it
it
one of
was
those games
part
where
of
the
that.
defense? Yeah, I think it was a little bit of both. I think the defense was also bad. They had a bad game for sure, 1,000%. But
Yeah, because
also,
where was Myles Garrett?
where was he? Did he even play? I mean, didn't even notice him. My thing is, so you had that going on this side, and then you have a situation where your offense is just giving away points too. Yeah, it's going to be a blowout very very quick. So that just was what that was. I wasn't shocked. I'll say I was pleasantly surprised by the magnitude of the score. Like, how did you guys blow them out by that much? Like, that defense is supposed to be pretty good. But I think
Yeah,
as
yeah,
as we say, like, it was a total
yeah,
team win.
yeah.
That was a total team loss from the Browns. I think they were just bad all the way around.
It
Like,
was.
they
It
was not
was.
ready to
It
play.
was.
It was just it
It
was a
was.
really really bad game. And it was just a total team loss. There's another game that we're gonna talk about too. That a team was just
Shout
it's
out to
just a
CJ
total team
Stroud.
loss. Yeah, but shout out to CJ Stroud. It's going to be a very interesting game next week. I'm looking forward to talking about that one too. CJ Stroud is somebody you're gonna have to deal with. So I hope them
For
birds
sure.
ready next week. That's all I'll say about that for now.
CJ Stroud might already be I mean, I won't even put him. I won't even rank him because I usually like to wait till you get a couple years in. But let me just ask you this: are there more than five quarterbacks that you would take over CJ Stroud? Me personally, I can't
Five,
think of five. I can't think of five that I would take
five
over him.
over
Like
CJ.
right now,
I
that
think
I
there's
would that
five.
on my team. So I'll name a few off, right? So I'll take Patrick Mahomes. I'll take
For sure,
Josh Allen. I'll take
for sure.
Lamar Jackson. I'll take what I mean.
Joe
Maybe
Burrow,
I'll
keep
take
going.
Herbert.
Joe Burrow and Herbert. There we go.
I
No,
could argue that
no.
I'll take CJ Stroud over both of them. Yeah, yeah. I could argue. It's a conversation. Is that it's not a conversation? It's not okay to have a conversation.
Not after one
See, I,
season.
I, I get what you're saying. I'm
Body
not
of
saying
work.
that he's better
Body
than
of
them
work.
yet, but no, listen. That's I think you're missing. I think you're missing what I'm saying. I'm not saying that he's necessarily better than them right at the moment. I'm just saying that if I'm putting together a team, I'm probably taking CJ Stroud over them right now because
So
of
if
what
you
I
had a
saw
chance to
from this
build your
season.
team, right?
I
If you
do
had a chance
think
to
he's that
build your
good.
team. Here's the thing with Justin
There's only
Herbert, though.
three
He gets
quarterbacks
a
I'm
bad
taking over
rap.
him right now.
Justin Herbert gets a bad rap, though. His
No,
squad
and it's not.
just
He's great. Justin Herbert is a top five quarterback. I'm not no arguing here.
one of the best spinners of the football.
I love his talent. Absolutely, he reminds me a lot of actually our former quarterback who we just played actually, Matthew Stafford.
Who I'm
Um,
also taking over
the
CJ
the the
Stroud.
way the arm talent that he has
Absolutely.
today, it's no way.
But what are you taking into
It's no way.
consideration when you say,
The reason
are you,
being
are
is
you,
because
is this starting a team or are we just going off talent? What are we going for? Is it everything?
it has to be everything. That's what I'm saying. I'm really talking more of a for my quarterback going for my team going forward. Who am I
Oh,
taking
oh,
on
well,
who
yeah.
what
I'll
quarterback
probably.
am I taking to go forward? Obviously,
Then in that conversation, he's top five
that's why that's
because
why
he's young.
that's why that's why I preference that. I'm not talking about necessarily who's better per se. And if we're being honest, though, CJ Stroud had a better year than Matthew Stafford, but that's a whole nother conversation again. That's but the point is that yes, I'm taking all of that into account when it comes to age, when it comes to
Yeah,
age on top of the talent and
for
the
sure.
the what
That's the
they've done.
case. Then he's probably top three in that category. Then if we're going because he's probably the best young quarterback in the league. So that automatically vaults him up into the top five, and then we're talking
And all those
off
quarterbacks,
pure skill.
Wait, none of those quarterbacks we named are old though. Like except for
They're
Stafford, is the
not,
only
but
one
they're
in his
much.
mid-30s now. The rest of those
But
guys are all mid-20s.
right, but I'm saying, but that votes him up into their conversation. That's why like top 5 with those guys
For
because.
sure.
But then we're taking talent into
Exactly.
consideration, and that's where he gets voted down to probably 5, 4 or 5 or 6,
Well,
somewhere
yes.
in there.
I think he has. Well, you're saying it like he doesn't have a lot of talent, and
Top
CJ
6 is not a lot
Stroud
of talent.
has a natural gift of no. The way I'm saying compared to the other guys, you're saying that he doesn't have it. Like he's not the accuracy and pinpoint placement that he has is a natural ability. There are some guys that you can't teach that with a lot of guys. Like he has a natural ability of accuracy. And
I
I know that sounds weird
I
because
get it.
like, but this some he has a net like
I get
he
it.
might have the most natural pinpoint accuracy ability in the
I
league.
get it. But my thing is, if we're taking everything into consideration, I'm gonna take the longevity plus the young guy. So guys who've done it for multiple seasons. We've seen guys do it for
Gotcha.
short stretches. We have a guy in
For sure.
Cleveland currently who got hurt, but is their big main quarterback. Is he the same guy that he was in Houston? Like we have people who have stretches. He looked
That's
like
a
he
whole
was top 5.
that's kind of a
Not really, because
that's
Buddy
kind
ain't
of
get
a
hurt.
touchy
Buddy,
situation.
no pun intended. But
Um,
my thing is,
but he
uh,
had to sit out. He did sit out for
so
basically
he
two
lost.
years.
He
So
forgot
I
how to
mean,
play
it's
football
it's essentially the same. You can lose a lot.
for sure, for sure.
I don't know if
But
he
what
was.
I'm saying
I'll
is,
say this: I was a Deshaun fan. I was a Deshaun fan.
same,
No,
same,
wait. I was a
same.
Deshaun fan, but I will say this. I will say this. Don't think he was ever. I don't think he ever had great passing vision. I think he operated on physical ability, and he would make some things work, and it worked out for him. But I don't think he ever had like great vision or could see exactly where to throw. I don't think he was great at reading defenses. I don't think that ever was a thing.
I agree with you. But what I'm saying is that there are people who have had great stretches, so you have to give them time. So I can't just vote somebody up after one good season. Colin Kaepernick has had a couple good seasons.
For
Obviously, I'm
sure.
saying Deshaun Watson has had good seasons. We're talking about there are guys who have
I
had
just see
Carson
something
Wentz.
different. I just see
Carson
something
Wentz have
different in
had
CJ Stroud.
Carson Wentz was dang near MVP. Like, and look where the fall from grace happened there. Like these things have happened to guys. So let's
For
just see.
sure.
Carson Wentz was the man. Like Carson Wentz was Cam Newton dang near. Like big, could run, running over dudes and dropping dimes. That year with Philly, before he got hurt, before Nick Foles had to take over, he was
Mm-hmm.
a shoe in for the
Mm-hmm.
MVP. Like he was that good, and then fell off the face of the planet for the next 2 years and
For
lost his
sure.
job, never to be a star again. So my thing is, I'm not saying it's gonna happen to CJ Stroud. I'm saying that CJ Stroud just needs to put the time in to be considered to be over a Joe Burrow, a
For
Lamar
sure.
Jackson, a Patrick Mahomes, who have all been doing this, a Josh Allen. They've been doing this every year. So let's just wait. Let's just see. I do have faith that it's going to continue, but let's wait and see. That's all. But
Absolutely.
that's why he's going to be chilling around
Absolutely.
6 in that
Absolutely.
conversation.
I agree.
That's all.
I agree.
But
I'm with
good
it.
win.
I have no problems with that. So I definitely with the last game that we have to discuss. Obviously, well, we also had the Buffalo Bills who won. That really game was kind of uneventful. Nothing really to talk about there. They did what they were supposed to do,
They did.
and, and they were up quickly and they held the lead for the entire time.
Exactly.
The game
No
last
TJ
game I
Watt.
want to
That game was
discuss
over.
though is yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
It was going to be with no TJ Watt. It was always going to be a difficult thing. So I definitely think that the last game we got to talk about is the Philly and Tampa Bay game, which is quite interesting and quite funny, to be honest.
The 10
Philly
men in the
was a
flesh.
team that started off 10-1. They were 10-1. They finished the season 11-6, which is absolutely atrocious. And you know what? They came in and they did exactly what those 5 game losing streak showed, or 5 games in a 6 games loss showed that they were absolute. They just gave up on everything. Like the team didn't even forget
Hot
just
garbage.
talent. They didn't look like they wanted to be there. They didn't look like they cared. They didn't look like anything good. And I don't see a way forward for them right away because, for one, their defense was struggling. They're going to need some guys. They're probably going to lose a couple. Darius Slay's getting a year older. Jason Kelsey on the other side, he just retired at center, and that's going to be huge for them. That's going to be huge for them. Their O line already looked like absolute garbage in this game. They gave no. Jalen Hurts was running for his life the entire time. But then when Jalen Hurts did have moments, he did have opportunities. He basically wasn't throwing to his open guys. He didn't see open guys. He was seeing ghosts. Like, I don't know what was going on. The team
Dude,
didn't.
they're
The
throwing
run
like Johnny
game.
Manziel.
DeAndre Swift did nothing. Nothing worked. They missed AJ Brown very much, and I don't even know if he would have made a difference if we're being honest.
He wouldn't have. They're bad. At this point in the game, I don't know, and I think I heard it best. And you said there's no way going forward. I think there is. Honestly, they were 10-1. What I think happened is that something happened in the locker room. Something had to have happened. Something had for you to go from 10-1, dominant team, where there was no way you weren't
Mm-hmm.
going to the Super Bowl or at least the
Mm-hmm.
NFC Championship game, to a team that
Mm-hmm.
loses 32-9 to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, lose a must-win game last week. 2 weeks ago.
Who also
You
don't
guys,
have a very good offense either.
yeah. So like, look, come on. Yes, they've had flaws all season. Yes, 1,000%. But this right here is something else. This is something else.
Mm-hmm.
They have lost
Mm-hmm.
badly to inferior teams. Like this like
Mm-hmm.
it's not like they're losing
Mm-hmm.
1 or 4 games. They're
Absolutely.
getting blown out every week. So that tells me that
Right.
guys have
Right.
quit. Why have they quit? That's the question. Why did you quit when you're 10-1? Something happened. Something
Starts
happened
at the
there.
top.
Yeah, something. So we will never know, or maybe we will. You never know. But my thing is something took place. Jalen Hurts, yeah, as I said, throwing like Johnny Manziel back in college, but just not completing them. Like Buddy was every time he had somebody in his face, he was just throwing a ball and doing a 360. Like he was just chucking and looking the other way. Like he wanted no parts of any hits. Like clear something is going on with him. He got a lot of injuries, clearly. Darius Slay
He was
died
just
on the
hoping and
field.
praying somebody would catch a pass.
Yeah, I don't know what happened to Darius Slay on the field. Like he broke his
Oh
back
yeah,
or something. Like
Slay
I don't
did
know
get
what
hurt.
that was.
Yeah,
I don't
yeah.
know what that
It was
was. Oh man,
crazy.
yeah, bro, he got all kind of pretzel. So, it's just all bad news there. So I don't know. I don't know what they do if they get rid of the coach. Hopefully they do, because I really do not like that man. I'm telling you.
How you get
I
rid
feel
of the
like
coach though? I don't know how you get rid of him though, because
it's tough.
you got to think he just went to the Super Bowl and then they started off 10-1. It's kind of hard to just completely get rid of him this season. Maybe he gets one more. He gets one more season.
Who do you remember? Doug Peterson? Were they not in the Super Bowl as well? Didn't he get fired like a year or two after that? Like
Yeah, they actually won the Super Bowl and he still got fired.
that's that's what I'm saying. that bought him no grace.
Oh,
He won a Super Bowl, and they had a couple seasons. They weren't even like horrible, but they had a couple seasons where it wasn't fantastic, and he got fired. So, all I'm saying is a good chance that happens. They have a very short
the
leash over
city of
there.
brotherly love.
Yeah, and ain't not one bit of love over there. So, yeah, losing Jason Kelsey next year is going to be a big loss, though. 1,000%, going to be a big loss. And you're right. Darius Slay's another year older. Their cornerbacks don't tackle. Their whole secondary, they just don't tackle. I mean, that has been the case all year long. That has been a problem. They don't tackle. They want no parts of it. So their front seven, their linebackers don't cover. They don't cover well. You get them 1-on-1, you have a field day. I mean, absolute field day on those linebackers. The D line is good. That's like the only thing
Yep.
though. Like D line is good, but that's it. Everything behind that is a little
Yes.
sketchy.
Yes, they do have a
The
good D line.
unfortunate part,
But
they spend a lot
but
of money back there.
even with the D line, they got Fletcher Cox. Yeah, I was gonna say they got Fletcher Cox, and he's getting older, so he's going to be done soon. He's not like getting
Yeah,
any younger. They did get Jalen Carter, which he had a great rookie season, so
he
that's a
did.
big thing. But their guys are getting older. There are other guys that are.
There,
I mean, isn't Brandon Graham still there? Like,
yeah, but
like
he on
it's like
year
their
14.
guys
He
are
will
getting
year
older.
15 next year. Yeah, these guys will be old. I mean, these guys are old. So,
Like,
hey,
right?
look,
Like,
ain't no love lost with us and the Eagles. So on this side, so keep charging on. Fly Eagles fly, into a wall. So do y'all yeah, bro. Whatever y'all need to do. Crash and burn. But my thing is, do y'all
man,
thing over there. I don't see a path forward. Because of I say locker room problems. I think that's what it
enjoy
is. I
watching the
think they
Lions
still
this
got
weekend.
exactly. They do have talent though. Like I don't want to ever go against their talent. They have a lot of talent. It's just I don't get it. Something happened this year, and it may cost their coach
Mm-hmm.
their job.
They definitely have talent. I mean, they went to the Super Bowl last year, and they just again, we say it again. They started off 10-1. They clearly have talent. They just like it's yeah.
They quit.
And we're just charging up. It's got to be something in the locker room. It's crazy. I don't know what happened. Yeah, they just gave up for a reason. But if they quit, typically that means they quit on the head coach. That's typically what that means. Players don't just quit on each other. Typically, they quit on the head coach. So I'm curious to see how that goes going forward. It's going to be interesting. So real quick, I want to quickly just kind of mention a couple of the games that are coming up, and you can kind of tell me. We won't go into full detail, but we want to like definitely hit on like who
Some
you think maybe
predictions.
is going to win. Yeah. Let's get it going. I'll let you go ahead and start it off. Let's get it popping.
So all
There's
right.
a
So
couple of matchups that so I know
we got
that. Well, I'll mention a couple of matchups, and I'll let you go ahead and tell me which one you want to start off with. I know we have the Ravens and the Texans. We have the Bills and the Chiefs. We
yep
have the Lions and oh my goodness,
Bucks.
I'm blanking for a second. Lions and the Bucks, and then we also have the 49ers and the Packers. What are you thinking? What are we going with? How's it looking?
Let's start off with the underdog. Packers and the 49ers. I think this is going to be a tougher game for the 49ers than they think going in. Ooh, this was tough for me. I've actually gone back and forth on this one all day. But I'm going to say that the
Mm.
49ers pull out a close one here. I think they pull out a close one here over at Candlestick. I think that they get the job done against the Packers. Relatively
I think
high,
I agree with you
lower
that it's going to be
scoring.
a tough game for sure. I think the Packers are going to. I think the Packers are going to give them more trouble than people may think. For one, the Packers have just they just came off a big win. Jordan Love's got the monkey off his back about it being his first playoff game. As well as they play physical. The Packers play
Yep.
physical the same way the Niners like to play physical. The Packers also like to play physical. So it's going to be interesting. The Niners haven't. The Niners starters, most of their starters haven't played in 3 weeks. So it's going to be interesting to see what they do. But I also agree that the Niners will ultimately. I think their talent would take over and they'll win.
Yeah, for sure. So outside of that game, let's shoot on over to the AFC. Who do you got in the other underdog game? We got the Texans versus the Ravens. How are you feeling?
Well, so the difference in this game against the Texans had against the Ravens counterpart or division counterpart in the Browns. The Ravens have a great quarterback, and they have a quarterback who's probably played his best football this season. Or the past 10 weeks, he's played the best football of his career, and I think the Ravens win. They also have a great defense as well.
They do.
So I expect them to win this game. I actually expect this game that I expect them to win by 2 touchdowns. I think the way that they play, and I think Lamar Jackson makes a big difference, changes that thing up.
Absolutely
CJ will
not
probably
for the
still
two
play well though.
touchdowns. CJ will definitely play well in this game. You're going to get enough of doubting CJ here. I think CJ puts on a very good performance here. I think Nico Collins puts on a very good performance here. I think this game is a shootout. I understand about the Baltimore defense, but I do think they will get lit up this weekend. However, they do have Lamar Jackson on the other side. They do have a great offense over there in Baltimore as well. So I still think this game will be close. But in Baltimore, I believe we'll edge this one out. I'm not really believing in the upsets this week. I think the better teams are going to win. But I think this game is going to be one of the better games of the weekend, for sure. Just because people think that Baltimore
I
is that much better.
Mine isn't even about doubting. I do think Baltimore is that good. Like I genuinely do. Has nothing to do with CJ Stroud really. Um,
We're going to
and
find out.
I just gave him ultimate praise. I was ready to, you know, top 5 quarterback I would take in the league right now. So hey, no doubt here.
We're going to find out. We're going to
So
find out. And he about to submit that.
what do you what what do you think about the Bills Chiefs game? How you feeling about that? I kind of think I already
Uh,
know because we talked about it already. But after you've seen the games now it's a little different. That you can kind of get a different perspective of how they're playing in the playoffs.
uh, man. So going into the playoffs, I have been down on the Chiefs. I still am. But there's something about the Chiefs in the playoffs. I don't know. Maybe we need to go back on our word. What they did in the cold weather was kind of crazy. I ain't gonna even lie. I can't look. They get all props from me. I did think that they would beat Miami because it was cold. Now I didn't think on if it wasn't negative 100 degrees, I do think Miami could have won that game. I did think they'll beat them in the cold, but I didn't think they would beat them like that. I didn't know that they would beat them handily. Like I didn't think it would
Yeah,
just
they
be a.
dominated them.
I mean, them dudes out there scoring all type of points in the cold. But now I will say this: Buffalo will
Yeah,
be a problem. Buffalo will be a problem. This will be another great game this weekend, guys. Just buckle up. It's gonna be a great weekend of football. This gonna be another. This gonna be another great one. I think Kansas City pulls this one
I
out,
think
though.
it's going to be. I think it's going to be great too.
Yeah. Actually, scratch that. I am not going off my pick. Buffalo wins this game. Buffalo wins this game. Buffalo wins this game. Kansas City's going home. I'm sticking with them. I'm gonna ride my boys out. I'm gonna ride them out on this one.
Ooh.
I'm gonna ride them out on this one. Buffalo wins. Buffalo wins by at least a
Mm.
touchdown.
I'm going to go with. I've been going back and forth about this one actually because it's in Buffalo. Who knows what type of snow they could have? They always get crazy snow, crazy snow. It's Patrick Mahomes' first road game in the playoffs, so that'll be interesting. That's a interesting piece of story, there.
Give it to me.
A lot of things point to the Bills, honestly, but I'm going with the Chiefs.
Don't do it.
I think the Chiefs
Don't do
defense
it.
has been great. I
Don't
think it's going to
do it.
continue to be great. I think Patrick Mahomes is going to be great in the cold weather once again, and I'm excited to see it. So we are split on this one. I'm going with
No,
the Chiefs.
because the one part you're
I'm doing
missing,
it. I'm believing in Patrick Mahomes.
the one part you're missing is the fact that they was playing a quarterback that is not good in the cold last week. He's playing a quarterback that's good in the cold, just like himself this week. Josh Allen is just as good. in the cold. He was built for this. That team, it was molded by it. They were. This is what they do. They love the cold. So we gonna find out. We gonna find out.
Josh Allen still loves to turn the ball over, so we'll see.
He does.
So, and then the last game, big game for us. We're excited, of course, as fans, but even more so, just to continue the story that's been going on with. It's just a beautiful story to keep watching. Dan Campbell and the Lions get victories. The excitement and the passion that they show. Brad Holmes in the elevator, the passion that he was showing was absolutely wonderful to see. He put this thing together. You gotta get a lot of credit. But that being said, I think the Lions win this game. I think the Lions put up 30 plus points on this team, and I think the Lions win. I'm confident actually that they beat the Bucs. I mean that in every sense of the word. I think they win this game. I don't think, and a lot of it is too is I don't think the Bucs have I don't think they're very good on offense. So I don't think highly of their offense. I think they have too many struggles, and I think that they will. I think they'll struggle. I think Aiden Hutchinson will continue to be a game wrecker as he's been the last several weeks and pretty much most of all of the season. People who have been watching know that he's been a game wrecker even before all of the sacks continued to come. But he's been getting a lot of sacks lately too. So I think that'll continue.
I mean, I'm gonna let you have all the game analysis on this one. All I'm gonna say is we've played these boys already. Lions by 50.
Mm-hmm.
I don't look. It is what it is, bro. NFC Championship. Let's roll. NFC Championship game. Let's
this
roll.
man said
Let's roll out.
50. That's crazy.
Look at here, bro. Baker Mayfield is not coming into Ford Field with that crowd. What this means to this city, we're not losing a Baker Mayfield on Sunday. I look. They look. Do
and
do
I also
whatever,
just
do
think the
whatever
game
you
against
will.
the Rams was a tougher one.
Absolutely.
I think
so.
Getting that monkey off your back and breaking that curse was more and they got rid of a lot of demons, a lot of ghosts. You know what I'm saying? You got rid of the not winning a playoff game. You moved on from quarterback. No longer have the quarterback of Stafford or the ghost of Stafford, I want to say, still in the locker room. It's Jared Goff's team at this moment, and this is what's going to happen. He's proved himself very much this last game, so I do think that that's going to be. I think that's what's going to happen. They're going to win. We both agree on that one. So I do have a question for you before we finish this pod, though. I told you I had a question for you. I told you this was going to be a good one, and I think it's only fitting that I think it's only fitting that it comes right when we just spoke about that.
Scared of your question.
Here's a question, right? So, as we all know, Matthew Stafford is the greatest Lions quarterback of all time, right? We can all agree
Absolutely.
on that.
Absolutely.
I have a question. After this win, is Jared Goff now a Lions legend? And I want you to think of that word, and I have more to follow it before you. I want you to think about it for a second. Is he a Lions legend? Okay. So Jared Goff has had 2 seasons back-to-back of 30-plus touchdowns. He's led them to 2 straight winning seasons back-to-back, which we've not had. He just won their first division title in the last 30 years, and they just won a home playoff game for the first time in 30-plus years. Is Jared Goff a Lions legend? And if he's not to you, what gets him there?
No. No, he's not. But I will say this. You asked what gets him there. He's only been here for 3 seasons. Okay. We don't have many legends in Lions history. The ones that we do have, however,
which is the biggest point right there.
right, but the ones that we do have currently are there because of longevity and body of work. Okay, no one's delivered a championship. However, if you're going to do it in this short period of time, Jared Goff has to win a Super Bowl,
Mm-hmm.
or at least make it to the Super Bowl, to even be considered. If he wins a Super Bowl, 1,000%, he's a Detroit legend. Forget a Lions legend. He's a Detroit legend. I mean, he's the man forever. He will never pay for another meal in the city of Detroit in his life. But just the simple fact of winning a playoff game, no. Why? And the reason I say this is because I believe the Lions are going to be good going forward. I do think this changes things and they're going to be good going forward. So if they're good going forward and we win a lot more playoff games and a lot more things, and let's say he's not our quarterback in 2 years, when a young guy takes over and he continues his run down, we will always look back at these years fondly because these are the years that started all of this. However, he
Jared
needs
Goff's
to
going
have
to
a
be our quarterback.
longevity.
He's going to be the Lions quarterback.
No,
Just let
I said no.
Jared Goff's going
I
to be the
said
Lions
if
quarterback.
for sure. But I said what if? I said what if? Now, if he continues this on down the line, he will be a legend. He 1,000% will be. But we're talking about. You asked me right now, is he a legend? Like, no. The answer is no right now. He needs to do it.
Who are the Lions? Who are the Lions legends Who are the Lions legends at quarterback?
They have one, Matthew Stafford.
And Jared Goff has done two things that Matthew Stafford has never done. Three things actually that Matthew Stafford has never done.
I don't fall in that category. I don't fall in that category because if that's the case, then Amon-Ra St. Brown has done things that Calvin Johnson has never done. So we're not going to sit here and act like Calvin is. So St. Brown's a legend too.
Wait. I didn't say whether. See, and I think you're taking it as if I'm saying Jared Goff has been better as a Lion than Matthew Stafford, and I'm not necessarily saying that because obviously longevity has to come into play there. But I'm just saying if he's a legend, and then this person who's played great and has done different things that other person in that same shoes has never done before, even in the longevity, even in the short period of time, it's at least up for consideration. It's a
I'll put it up for
conversation.
consideration, but for me, I'm not. It's easy. I feel like we're in the moment. We're living in the moment right now. I feel like if you take us outside of this, if we
Absolutely.
fast forward to next season, and Jared Goff does some Jared Goff things and throws a couple picks, and we lose a playoff game or we don't win a division, people are not going to be like, but last year he did. We gonna want to throw him out of town. That's what I'm saying. So we need to, calm that down a little bit. Yes, he's going to get the contract. He's going to be our quarterback going forward. Yes, understand
all we're talking about,
but that doesn't make him a legend. A legend, it means that he's our guy forever. That's our guy. It's our main guy. We love that guy. Stafford, what Stafford did here was a little different. I understand he didn't win in the playoffs and all that, but he's the only
everybody
reason.
Didn't love Stafford.
Yeah, the people who didn't were bozos, and that's a conversation for another day. What him and Megatron did here was kept us relevant. Those were the two stars that we had. They were the only two guys that people talked about when they talked about the Lions. Those guys were the cream of the crop and the top of their respective positions, and they play for us. So that's Jared Goff is not the top of his position. Jared Goff is a good quarterback playing on a good team. Matt Stafford didn't have good teams, unfortunately. So I look at it a little differently. So for me, Jared Goff is a perfect quarterback for our team. But I don't like to compare. Stafford's a legend because Stafford is a legend. That's a conversation for another day. Jared Goff is making the best of this situation, and give him all the props in the world, because without him doing what he was doing, we wouldn't be in this situation either. He is definitely needed, but there's not too many Matthew Staffords out there. So, I mean, let's just call that what that is.
Hey, I'm no disagree. It's no real disagreement here. I just had to pose it because I thought it was an interesting question that was posed to
It's
me, and I was
interesting.
like, "Ooh, that's a good one." And I think that there is it is a conversation to be had just simply because of, like I said, some of the things that he's been able to accomplish over the last 2 seasons have been big, and it's part of it is, yes, we don't have a lot of great. Beautiful history as for the Detroit Lions, so that's why I thought it was very interesting in that regards. I don't consider him a legend just yet, but I think he's, let's just say he has two more great games in these playoffs. They say that they win this weekend. He throws for like 275, 300 yards, has a couple of touchdowns, no picks. Then the next week, he plays in the NFC Championship, and they play, whether it's, I'll say this, win or lose against, say it's the Niners, and they play a close game, and it's a possibility to win, and he plays great. I think the conversation is it's to be had. I'll just say that it's some things that
How about this?
no other quarterback here has done. And yes, that's not Stafford's fault. I'm not. Some of it was. I'm not going to act like Stafford was blameless in his time here. And I was been a big Stafford fan, but he's not blameless in any of in his time here. But he was great
He's
while he
not,
was here, and I definitely loved him while he was here. So
but
I have
neither
no
is
problem saying that.
Goff.
You know,
So
so
I mean,
good conversation. Good conversation.
yeah, it's a great conversation, and I feel like it's a conversation that we can have one day. But I would feel like the only comparison I can make is Nick Foles a legend in Philly? I mean, short period of time.
That's not.
He won
That's. I
them.
don't think
He
that's. I don't think
won
that's
the
fair.
Super
I don't
Bowl.
think that's fair at all
He
because
won them
he
guys
was
a Super Bowl.
he was not. He did not. But he will actually. Nick Foles will be a legend. It probably is a legend in Philly, but he did not. It's a different conversation because he wasn't the starter for multiple years. He wasn't the guy for multiple years to actually play great in the regular season
I
and
get it.
then play well in the postseason. That's not the same
I
thing. I
get
don't
it.
think it's the same
I
category. That's all.
I I, I get it. But I feel like Lions fans, and I'm going to talk about our fan base for just a second here. We never have dealt in facts, and we have never dealt in stats. We don't care about the truth on football, the way football actually operates. They just want to place the blame on people.
They sure
It's just
don't.
it's um, because when you
Absolutely.
looked at, unfortunately, I think if you would have brought a quarterback in here off the street, Jameis Winston, they could have signed him, and Jared Goff got hurt, and Winston won that game on Sunday, and he would have been deemed as the greatest quarterback in Lions history just because he won that one game. They don't care. They care about the simple fact that Jared Goff was the quarterback, not the fact that he what he ain't like the greatest. He ain't the second coming to Jesus. Like, let's not all act like haven't been sitting here having conversations, even though we went 12-5, that we could possibly use another quarterback. Like, let's not have like let's just be real here. He perfect for our system. Okay, he's a good quarterback for our system. But almost I don't think no one loves Jared Goff. Uh, we like him. We like Jared Goff. We do. We don't love Jared Goff. We like Jared Goff. And he gets the job done. And we've always said, and I think I've said it before, we can win with him in this system. We don't ever win because of him, but we win
Hmm.
with him. He does not cost us games very often. He does not make a
Hmm.
lot of mistakes. What people didn't like about Stafford is
Hmm.
Stafford, he took gambles. He took risk, but people don't understand he had to. He had to take risks. He didn't have a
Hmm.
running game. The defense was bad for most of the time that he was here. If he did not take risk, we did not win. And
Hmm.
they love the highlights. They love the Calvin Johnson catching the ball over three people. that's because he threw the ball to a guy who had triple coverage. He had to. Calvin Johnson was rarely wide open. He had to just throw the ball
Mm-hmm.
up. Sometimes it worked. Sometimes it
Mm-hmm.
didn't. You have
Mm-hmm.
to live with that. But when it didn't work, then
Mm-hmm.
we had wanted to act like he was the worst quarterback ever. No, when he went to LA, if we had good talent, that's what would have
Mm-hmm.
happened here too. It's just what it is. Stafford's a great quarterback, and so Stafford gets too much hate. Goff gets too much hate. Honestly, he's just good for our system. We are a better team. We're just a really good team. That was a team
He's
win.
good. Yeah.
When the Goff win, this
Yeah.
team will always be
For sure.
remembered.
For sure.
That's all. This team, this moment. I feel like
For
we don't got
sure.
to put it on Goff. This team was something that we should all hold up in high regard going forward, because this team has been great for the last 3 years. These are just a great group of guys. That's where I stand on it. I don't want to say it's Goff or Stafford. It's just this team. The team. This is a legendary team. That's what I got.
That's what I wanted. I wanted you to get a little riled up. I liked it. So that's I good conversation. I'm excited to see what happens this weekend. I do know one last thing though. The one last thing I can say is I know that if we did have Jameis Winston, he'd be out there getting our guys some touchdowns because that's what he does. He doesn't care what the
All
coach
right,
says.
I'm done. I'm done. I'm logging off. I'm logging off, bro. I'm not having that conversation today.
Get a W.
Man.
We're about to eat a W. We're about to eat a W. We're gonna eat a W. Oh man, but another fun episode. Thank y'all for listening and chiming in to 3rd and 13. We'll get with you guys again next week. Peace out. We'll see y'all.